Okay, but we have to give one thing a bit of attention tonight. You'll remember that last week we pointed out that in 1823, Joseph Smith said he had the first vision of the angel Moroni who told him about these plates. Then 4 years later, Joseph claimed he actually received them from the earth. But we also pointed out that Joseph Smith continued to pretended to see other buried treasure between the first visit of the angel Moroni and him receiving the plates. During that time, he continued to go around to unsuspecting people, and he conned them by looking at the stone in the hat and pretended to be able to see where buried treasures were. What? Why did he do this? You have a visit by God the Father, he says, and Jesus Christ. You are visited by an angel of light that is terrifying to you, according to him, when you first see him. And you continue to con people out of their money through trickery in between these visits. Praise to the man who communed with Jehovah. It ought to be disgraced as the man who chased ghosts through the clova. It was not what the history continues to put forward. What makes his treasure peeping particularly interesting and damaging is that in 1826, 3 years after he said he was told about these golden plates, listen, folks, Joseph Smith was actually arrested, charged, and convicted for being a fraud and conning people out of their money. Now, before there was any evidence of this convictions, rumors flew. All the way back to 1831, people were saying, that guy was arrested, he was arrested. But you see, the LDS wouldn't accept the story as fact because there is no hard evidence to prove that Joseph Smith was ever arrested or convicted. You see, with the LDS, they demand hard evidence to prove that Joseph Smith was a con, but no evidence to prove that the things he said were true. Have you ever thought of that? It's amazing. So, in time, a letter dating back to the time the charge occurred popped up. And the LDS defenders were so sure that that letter was false, even Hugh Nibley, LDS scholar, once said, quote, "If this record is authentic, it is the most damning evidence in existence against Joseph Smith." End quote. Uh-oh, Brother Nibbies, got a little problem. You see, in 1971, a man named Wesley P. Walters had been doing considerable research on this event, and he was going through courthouses in New York, and he found the concrete evidence he needed and we needed to show that the accusation was absolutely true. The court document was dated March 20th, 1826. In it, the charges for the court are listed. Joseph Smith is listed there in the title with the glass looker next to his name. The word misdemeanor is written in by his name, and a reference for the fees owed for the conviction are also listed in this court record. As a side note, the literal charge against Joseph Smith was that of an impostor and a disorderly person. In those days, the following the title of disorderly person fell under the following according to the laws of the state of New York. We have a graphic for you to show you. This is what a disorderly person was. Quote, all jugglers and all persons pretending to have skill in physiognomy, palmistry, or like crafty sciences, or pretending to tell fortunes, or to discover where lost goods may be found. That's in the laws of the state of New York, revised and passed 1813. By the way, where it says a juggler in that, it's somebody who pretended to find hidden treasures through mystical means, like rocks in a hat. One of the justices of the peace who oversaw the court appearance, Joel K. Noble, sent a letter to a friend about Joseph's court appearance. This is what the judge's letter said. Joe Smith, Mormon, came here when about 17, 18 years of age in the capacity of a glass looker or fortune teller. Joe engaged the attention of a few individuals given to the marvelous, dug for money, salt, iron ore, gold ore, silver ore, and almost anything, everything, until civil authority brought up Joe, standing, as the boys say, under the Vagrant Act. Joe was condemned. Whisper came to Joe, off, off, and he took leg bail. Joe was not seen in our town for 2 years or more, except in the dark corners. When it says whispers were said, off, off, they took this 17-year-old kid and they said, get out of town and you're not going to do time, but we don't want your kind around these parts anymore. That's what leg bail is called. And so he took it and disappeared and wasn't seen again, except he did come back because Emma was living there, Isaac Hale's daughter, and that's who he married. And he also, Isaac, provided affidavits sworn before a judge of Joseph's character exactly like this. All of it can be found at www.utlm.org. Go there yourself. Look it up. Don't believe me. Think I'm as bad as you think I am. But look up the facts. See if they're true. So Joseph says God the Father visited him in 1820. Then Joseph said an angel named Moroni visited him over and over again in 1823. And then in 1826, while working with the angel to get these heavenly plates to translate, Joseph gets arrested and convicted for being a juggler, or in our language today, a flat-out con man.